Hello, welcome to LoLo Tarot. I'm so grateful that you are here with me, and this pick a card reading is going to be on how are people perceiving you. We're going to have 3 groups today. We have the Hanged Man as group number 1, the 8 of Cups as group number 2, and the Wheel of Fortune as group number 3. So pause if you need to select a group, and yes, you can select multiple groups if you resonate with that. And I just want to let you know that all information that you need will be down in the description box below. And if you want to be notified every time I pop out, then hit that bell below, and I will see you in your group. If you chose the Hanged Man, then this is your reading, pile number 1. First and foremost, how you are being perceived is somebody who is on their own timing and isn't pressured by, societal norms. I feel like you really take the time out to learn the lessons that you need to move on. And I feel like you're being perceived as someone who has a different perspective than other people. And people honestly respect your perspective because it helps open their eyes to, the perceptions of other people. So let's tap into this energy and see how you are being perceived. How is pile number 1 being perceived? With the Page of Cups, the 2 of Cups, the 2 of Swords, the King of Cups reverse, and the Knight of Wands reverse. Hanged Man on the bottom, confirmation. So, how you're being perceived with the Page of Cups is as someone who is really tapped into your inner child energy. You have this youthful energy within you and this youthful bliss. I feel like you don't shut out your inner child, and you kind of let them explore new things, try new things. This ultimately just this innocent bliss that you radiate. I feel like you're very imaginative, very dreamy, and you don't limit the vision for yourself. Like, as children, we used to dream of big things, but then we allowed the world 222 on the timer to shut us out and put fear among our plans. I feel like you don't really have that fear within you, and you just allow yourself to have big dreams and have big goals and big visions for yourself without limiting yourself to the box that people want to keep us in. With the 2 of Cups, how you're being perceived is as someone who has found the love within yourself. I feel like you are kind of your own true lover, and you supply the love, care, and nurturing that you deserve to yourself. And so I feel like you honestly just have so much love to give, since you give yourself so much love, and you found this love within yourself, so you're able to express that outwardly. I feel like a lot of people are perceiving you as their soulmate, as their divine counterpart. Like, people just want you in their life. They see you as an equal partner. With the 2 of Swords, how you're being perceived is somebody who is able to, someone who is decisive. You're not indecisive. When you need to make a decision, you make a choice. The best thing for you to do when you are having a stalemate or having indecision is to make a choice and to stand by that. And so that's what you do. Like, even when you are blind to the circumstance and you don't really know what is the best decision, you know that either way, either decision you make, you're going to make it to where you need to be, and all paths lead to Rome. So yes, you might make the wrong decision, but it's just going to be a detour, and you're going to make it back to where you need to go. So I feel like you don't really pressure yourself in making these decisions, and if you need to sit with something until you can make the right decision for you, then you'll sit with it. With the King of Cups in reverse, how you're being perceived is someone who's a little bit of like an emotionally unavailable person. Yes, you are emotionally mature. Yes, you are very kind and compassionate, but you don't just let everyone see that side of you. I feel like you're very exclusive with who you pour your energy into. I also feel like you're not really searching for love right now. Maybe you're focused on goals, you're just focusing on like gaining some stability in your life. But I just feel like you aren't someone who pours into just strangers all the time. You definitely you're a little bit stingy with your love because you can't just pour into everyone, you know, 4, 5, 6 on the timer. With the starfish, I feel like you definitely have a hard exterior, if you see it in the bottom. You have a hard exterior, but the people who really like vibe with you and love and care about you see the other side of you, and they understand like you do have this vulnerable side and you are very compassionate and empathetic, but you're just not allowing people to play with your emotions. With the Knight of Wands in reverse, how you're being perceived is someone who is not impulsive. You are not impulsive, you are not reckless, you are not someone who just does things without thinking about the consequences. You're not somebody who just does things without literally thinking. And so I feel like you're very calculated. You're very calculated. But I also feel like you're kind of dancing to the beat of your own drum and not really indulging in impulsive energy. Like you're just kind of in your own world is what I'm getting. And I don't feel like you're a very flighty energy either. Hangman on the bottom of the deck, the 7 of Wands. Yeah, you definitely have a higher perspective, like a totally different perspective than other people. And that's why you have so many boundaries, and that's why you protect yourself so much, is because not everyone's going to value your perspective. Let's see what else. What else does pile number 1? How are they being perceived? With the Empress, the Knight of Cups reverse, the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, and the 10 of Cups. Two of Wands on the bottom. So with the Empress, Divine Feminine energy, I feel like you're being perceived as this motherly energy. Like you nurture, love, and care for a lot of people. And you're also this very creative energy here. I feel like you are like attracting so many things into your life and people can see it. Like you literally just attract the opportunities, you attract love, you attract everything that you need in life. And ultimately you're just birthing a lot of new creations and really tapping into this inspirational energy, creativity. And that's why you're able to tap into this creativity, is because you're tapped in your inner child and you're not limiting yourself and having these limiting beliefs about what you can and can't do. With the Knight of Cups in reverse, I feel like people perceive you as someone who kind of romanticizes situations. Sometimes you might romanticize people, or you just kind of get into this dreamy, imaginative headspace, and sometimes it can be a little destructive for yourself. And so I feel like the reason why you found the love within yourself and you are your own true lover is because you know that you romanticize people. You know that you put them up on a pedestal and then they end up falling down the pedestal and you're like, damn, like you were not the person that I thought you were. And so I feel like that's why you're kind of keeping to yourself and realizing that your love is what made people so special. With the 10 of Wands, how you're being perceived is someone who can literally carry the weight of the world. Like you have so many responsibilities on your back and so much weight on your shoulders. And so even when you can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel, or you can't see the way out, you still push forward and you're so resilient in like handling all your responsibilities, even when you can't see the immediate results. With the Nine of Wands below the King of Cups, the reason why you aren't, the reason why you're emotionally unavailable and you aren't always vulnerable with everybody is because you've endured so much and you've suffered so much and you have had to conquer so much in your past, and you're like this wounded warrior and like beyond fucking resilient. And so sometimes you're a little bit guarded, defensive, and traumatized because of what you've experienced. And so rightfully so, you're emotionally unavailable and not always vulnerable with people, because I feel like you've experienced a lot of people who have played with your emotions and you've learned from your past and you're moving on from that. With the Ten of Cups, how people are perceiving you as someone who creates their own happiness. You have a lot of emotional fulfillment and just this lust for life, honestly. And like I said before, you're not this impulsive and reckless energy where you don't think before you do. You think about what's going to fulfill you and what's going to make you happiest and what's going to be best for the overall situation. And I feel like you really value the people that you love and care about and the people that you have this safe space with. And you're honestly just this vulnerable energy, but you only share it with the people who are closest to you. On the bottom, the Two of Wands, how people are perceiving you as someone who's in the in-betweens. You have a lot of planning that you're doing. You're in between your old world and in your new world, but you're transitioning. And so they give a lot of things that you are aspiring to do. And in the meantime, you're being productive with the time that you have. Let's get some clarifying cards. The Architect type deck. How are people perceiving pile number 1? Too many cards. How are people perceiving pile number 1? Too many cards again. There we go. We have storyteller, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. So that's how you're being perceived, as someone who's a storyteller, and you help, people understand situations by relating it to a story or symbolism. And yeah, people honestly, I feel like people value like the stories that you tell and your perspective. Again, with the Hangman, it's like you make things clear for people and you explain it in ways that other people wouldn't be able to explain it. We have Virgin, maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit. And yeah, you definitely maintain the symbolic purity and heart and spirit within yourself. And it's like, this is the love that you found within yourself. You realize that you are pure and that your love is what made people so special. And so I feel like you're really protecting yourself right now and just indulging in your spirit to the divine, to source, to God, whatever you want to call it. And we have Father, talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. So yeah, you're literally creating and supporting life. And I feel like you are the light at the end of the tunnel for, I don't know why I'm stuttering right now, the light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of people. And so people see that you've had similar experiences to them, and yet you're in the position that you're in. So it gives them hope and faith that they can do it too. And I also feel like this has to do with like finding your soul tribe and being this leader for your soul tribe. On the bottom of the deck, we have Shapeshifter, a skill at navigating through difficult levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. This is alchemist energy of you being able to see, like I said, with the Two of Swords, you being able to see beyond the current circumstance. Like you can see the outcome, like you can see your vision even when it's not right in front of you. So you trust your intuition to guide you on that path. Let's get some closing messages with my Rainbow Warrior Oracle deck. What is how is pile number 1 being perceived? Yeah, we have Mother Nature. You're this very grounding force. Not only are you the father, but with the Empress, this motherly energy. You nurture, love, and care for people, and you bring them back to the ground. Like all their fears and worries go away when you're around. Healing field, exactly. This is this virgin energy. You protect your healing field. You don't just allow anyone in your healing field. You don't allow toxicity in your healing field. You don't let people drain you dry. Like, you're very conscious of who you surround yourself with and the energies that you allow around you. One more card. Again, grounding. They're similar cards. It's like you're this very grounded energy. You're very emotionally like stable. You're secure within yourself, and you don't step out of character. And that's how you're being perceived, as this very grounding force. Like, people feel safe around you. People feel like they aren't being judged. On the bottom, we have early summer. So there's definitely a significance with early summer. I feel like maybe you remind people of early summer, just this warm energy. And this also has to do with manifestations and things just ultimately flourishing. I feel like you're being perceived as someone who is flourishing. And even though it's like maybe not early summer right now, it seems like you are just flourishing as if it is early summer. So thank you so much for tuning into this reading. All information that you need about personal readings, my social media, anything that you need is going to be down below. See you next time. If you selected the 8 of Cups, then this is your reading pile number 2. First off, how you're being perceived as someone who is very detached. I feel like you are detaching yourself from certain circumstances, certain friendships, jobs, habits, whatever it so be. You are definitely detaching yourself from things that no longer resonate with your energy. You're leaving things behind, and I feel like you're just choosing yourself and prioritizing yourself in these circumstances. And that's how you're being perceived. Let's tap into your energy and see what else we got. How is pile number 2 being perceived? The 9 of Swords, the 6 of Cups, King of Pentacles, King of Wands, the 4 of Swords reverse. So, how you're being perceived, I feel like you're giving people anxiety. People are really, really anxious over you, and it might be because they didn't expect you to leave the certain circumstance, or they didn't expect you to leave them behind. They didn't expect you to know your worth. They didn't expect you to know your power. But people are losing their mind, losing sleep over you. And it might be that they kind of misjudged you, and now they realize that they were wrong all along, and that they were the problem. With the 6 of Cups, how you're being perceived, you're being perceived as like this very familiar energy. Like, people feel safer around you. They feel like they've known you before. 222 on the timer. And I feel like you are like this safe space for people. Like, they feel like they can find refuge in you. I also feel like you're being perceived as someone who's very loyal. So for the people that you love and care about, you are loyal to your core. And so I feel like you're being perceived as someone who's very supportive as well. Someone who ultimately is just very generous with who they love and care about. And I feel like you ride or die for your people. And that's why you like walk away from situations and detach from situations, is because you're not going to deal with people's BS when you know you have loyal people who love and support you the way that you love and support them. With the King of Pentacles, how you're being perceived as someone who's very grounded, stable, secure. There's 2 dogs here. So again, loyal. You are loyal. And it's like, you show up for your people. If you tell someone, I'm going to help you move, you help them move. Like you're someone who follows through with what you say you're going to do. And so that's why people can trust you, is because they know if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And you're not somebody who just falls out of what they're saying they're going to do. You're very consistent. People think that you're very abundant. And honestly, you're being perceived as someone who's just focusing on their coin. If you see he's looking at the coin, like you're just focused on gaining stability, security, and minding your damn business. With the King of Wands, how you're being perceived, we have 2 masculine energies out. So you're definitely in your masculine energy, or that's how you're being perceived, as like this go-getter, like you take that action. With this King of Wands, you take that intentional action and you go after what you're inspired to do and what fuels your creativity. Like if you're not passionate about what you're doing, it's not going to flourish as much as if you're passionate about it, you know? Like people can really tell that you love what you do, and that's why you do it, you know? And that's why you're so good at what you do, is because you love it. But people also perceive you as the leader, the torchbearer, the one who is guiding people on the right path, because they trust you to be that leader. We have the lion in the back, and so you definitely are this very fiery, feisty energy. So we have earth energy, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and then fire energy, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have the 4 swords in reverse. So how you're being perceived as somebody who, I feel like you're done healing. Like you had your cocoon phase. You had your cocoon phase where you were resting, rejuvenating, replenishing. But now I feel like you are coming out of this, and you're taking that action, and you're going after your dreams, and you're going after your vision, and not so much focused on your healing right now. Like you've healed enough where you can function in a healthy manner, if that makes sense. I hope you're catching on to what I'm saying. 4 cups on the bottom, yeah. I feel like you're being perceived as someone who has a lot of options, but you're a little discontent. A little discontent and unfulfilled with the options that are being handed to you. Like, you know your worth, and you're not just gonna settle for half-ass. You're not gonna just settle for the first offer that comes to you. And so I feel like you're a little unfulfilled with the options that you have right now, in whatever way that means for you. But also I feel like it's like we misperceive boredom or peace, boredom for peace all the time. So we think that we're just bored, but really it's peace. Let's see what else. How else is pile number 2 being perceived? Ace of Cups, the High Priestess, Wheel of Fortune, these cards are flying. 6 of Swords, 3 of Cups sideways, 3 of Cups upright, Chariot on the bottom. So like I said before, you're giving people anxiety, and they're in mental fucking despair because you found the love within yourself. You found your worth, and you realize that like you deserve your love more than anybody else. And so I feel like you're really investing into your self-care, your self-love. Like you're really being perceived as someone who knows their worth and is standing in their power. And I feel like you are protecting yourself at this point. Like you see how she's holding the cup? It's like she's protecting it and holding on to it for dear life, and not allowing other people to affect that self-worth and that self-love. With the High Priestess, how you're being perceived as someone who's very intuitive and someone who definitely has a divine connection to Source, God, or Spirit, whatever you want to call it. You are just this very divine energy overall. Like people can tell that you have the skills, abilities, and gifts to flourish. They understand that your gut instincts are always correct. They understand that your BS meter is off the charts. And so I feel like that's why people feel so safe around you, is because you're so intuitive and you understand people better than sometimes they understand themselves. And that's why people know like you are loyal, is because you know the honest truth and all you seek is for the truth, and your intuition will always tell you the truth. And so I feel like people trust intuitive energies more than they trust, you know, unaware people. With the Wheel of Fortune, how you're being perceived as someone who's very abundant, someone who is in their receiving era. Like you're on top of the wheel right now, like on top of the world. You're being perceived as someone who's in their prime time, someone who's in their healthiest, wealthiest, and happiest chapter of their life. And it's all because you are focusing on your coin and you mind your business. You're not competing with other people, you're competing with your past self, and that's why you're so successful. Like people can literally see that abundance is your birthright. And she has dice on her neck. I feel like you've rolled the dice and you've took the gambles that you needed for you to get to where you are. With the Six of Swords, how you're being perceived as someone who moves into calmer waters, away from the turmoil, away from the chaos, and towards your peace. Like you know when it's time for you to move on. Especially when you lose your passion in the circumstance, you know it's time to move on and just go on your merry way. And that's okay to choose yourself and to prioritize yourself like we should, you know? The next card we have is the Three of Cups. So I feel like you're out of this healing phase and you're able to, you know, live healthily at this moment. And people are perceiving you as someone who's a very good friend. You're very supportive and reliable, and you show up for your people. And I feel like ultimately right now, since you have healed and you've done the internal work, now you're helping other people to do the internal work as well, and helping guide others and just being this support system for other people. That's how you're being perceived. You're perceived as somebody who is likable, relatable. People like you. People like you, people understand you, and people literally just want to be around you. Bottom of the deck, Chariot. Yeah, you're being perceived as someone who literally can charge through anything. I feel like you've balanced out your divine feminine, divine masculine energies, the light and the dark. So you are a powerhouse and you can make it through all the obstacles and you just charge ahead. That's how you're being perceived, as literally a powerhouse. Let's get some clarifying cards with my archetype deck. How is pile number 2 being perceived? Child nature, friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. Yeah. So like I said, you're this very, I feel like this youthful energy, and not only do you, like, are you likable by people, you're likable by animals. And I feel like you have a special relationship with nature, and that's how you're being perceived, as someone who enjoys nature, has a connection to Mother Gaia. And ultimately just this innocent energy. We have artists expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. So the way that you articulate yourself, you're able to give people a higher perspective, and it's like you see things that other people can't because of how intuitive you are and the connection that you have to the divine. And so I feel like you definitely give higher perspectives to people, and just you really open people's eyes is what I'm getting. And I feel like it's kind of unexpected. Like people don't expect this from you at first. How else is pile number 2 being perceived? One more card. Way too many. One more card, please. Vampire makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force energy. And that's why you move on, is because you know that certain people, you attract broken people. You attract people that need help because you are a healer. And so you know that there are people that will come in and try to be codependent off of your energy. People who will feed off of your energy and think that that's going to heal them. And so I feel like you're very aware that you draw these people in, and so that's why you're able to detach and move on so quickly, is because you know when something's draining you. You know when something's only sabotaging you. On the bottom, mother, nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. Yeah, you're this very motherly energy. People perceive you this way, and you like nurture and have patience for the things that you love, and you also have this unconditional love. And I feel like you're just overall this very creative energy. Let's get some closing messages with my Rainbow Warrior Oracle deck. How is pile number 2 being perceived? We have lover. You're being perceived as a lover. You're literally a hopeless romantic. You found the love within yourself, and that's why you're openly able to love others so much. And people honestly just see you as someone who has so much love to give, is what I'm getting. And I feel like you've come into union with yourself, and so that's why you're able to detach from things, is because as long as you don't abandon yourself, you will never be abandoned. Life force energy. And you understand the importance of life force energy. You understand that your energy is so important, and energy is your currency. And so you invest your energy into what's important to you instead of indulging in negativity, misery, drama, gossip, etc. We have release on the bottom. So yeah, you literally release things for your life force energy, like when something is literally just depleting you. And the last card we have is music. So there is a significance with music. People are perceiving you as a musical person, a creative person. Whether it's you like dancing, singing, you are musically inclined in whatever way that means for you. On the bottom, we have summer. So there's definitely a significance with summer here. And I feel like you're perceived as like this warm energy, this very empowering energy, and I feel like you just make people feel warm overall, but you're also just flourishing and everything's coming to fruition for you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and all information that you need will be down below. So I will see you next time. If you chose the Wheel of Fortune, then this is your reading, pile number 3. First and foremost, how people are perceiving you is as a winner. Okay, like this is your winning season. I feel like people who have seen you when you were at the bottom of the wheel and you're losing season, they now see that you are winning. You are in your abundant season. You are literally just attracting everything that's meant for you, and you're in the healthiest, wealthiest, and happiest chapter of your life right now. Let's tap into this energy and see how else people are perceiving you. How else are people perceiving pile number 3? Ten of Cups, Two of Cups reverse, the World, the Wheel of Fortune, and double confirmation for the wheel, and the Four of Wands. This is some good energy. So Magician on the bottom, how you're being perceived is someone who is ultimately very emotionally fulfilled with where they're at. You have this lust for life experiences, and I feel like you're giving yourself this safe space for you to be vulnerable and indulging in like friendships and just this camaraderie in your life as well. But ultimately, people just perceive you as this happy spirit, someone who's very fulfilled and just enjoying the journey and not so much the destination. With the Two of Cups in reverse, I feel like you're being perceived as someone who, I feel like you have some circumstances and relationships that come into your life where things are imbalanced and there's not really this equal give and take, there's not this equal partnership, and so you're able to really cut this off and detach yourself from these circumstances instead of indulging in unfulfilling situations. And ultimately, I just feel like you've found this love within yourself, so you're not like externally looking for someone else to be your equal right now. With the World, you're being perceived as someone who's literally on top of the world. You are seen as someone who is able to close out repetitive cycles in your life. You don't continue to go through the same patterns. You learn your lessons and you move on, so you can go through different karmic cycles and not have to stay in like the destructive karmic cycles and the toxic karmic cycles. So you definitely have a lot of self-awareness to be able to keep moving forward, and also pattern recognition to recognize when something is being very destructive for you. With the Wheel of Fortune, again, you're literally on top of the wheel. Like with the dice on her neck, it's like you are taking those gambles and taking those risks to get to where you are. Like big risks big reward. And so I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to take the risk that you are taking, but they recognize how it's paid off for you. I think the Wheel of Fortune was in group number 2, so you might resonate with that group. We have the Four of Wands. So how you're being perceived as someone who ultimately has a lot to celebrate. You have created this security, stability within your life and built this on a stable foundation. I feel like you build your friendships, your connections on this stable foundation of loyalty, respect, honor, and value. So that's how you're being perceived as kind of just someone who's got a lot to be happy about. And that's ultimately probably why you're so fulfilled, is because you've created the life that you desire and the life that you want to live. And I just feel like you're really experiencing the experiences that you need to go through right now. On the bottom of the deck with the Magician, how you're being perceived as someone who's a master manifester. You know your worth, and I feel like you're very protective of your energy so you can manifest the things that you desire. And you also are aware of how the law of assumption, the law of attraction works. Like, meaning, like, you think positively. You think, what if best case scenario can happen, so you can manifest that circumstance. But people ultimately perceive you as someone who can literally manifest anything into your life. And so that's why you have the life that you are living right now, is because you've literally manifested it. Let's clarify this energy out. High Priestess. I feel like the High Priestess has come out in the last reading as well. The Nine of Wands. The Four of Cups. The Three of Cups. Too many cards. Six of Wands and the Three of Swords. And the Seven of Cups. Five of Pentacles on the bottom. So with the High Priestess, how you're being perceived as someone who's very intuitive, someone who's very in tune with themselves and the divine. You have a connection to divine, source, God, whatever you want to call it. You are just this very intuitive energy. Like, your gut instincts guide you to the right place. And I feel like your BS meter is off the chart. And I feel like your connection to the divine, source, or God is what gives you this emotional fulfillment to be happy where you are. Because you know that you are never alone. And you know that you are being supported and guided and protected throughout this whole journey. And so I feel like that's why you enjoy the whole journey and not just the destination that you're going to, is because you know that you are supported no matter what. No matter what the circumstance looks like. And so even if you're not where you thought you were going to be or where you think you're going to end up, you can still enjoy and savor the journey. With the Nine of Wands, how you're being perceived as someone who has been through a lot. You've endured a lot, you've suffered a lot, you've had a lot of traumatic experiences. You're a little guarded, defensive, and traumatized. But that is why you're able to let go of these situations that have that imbalance. And the situations that are not equal parts, is because you've experienced this before. And so you learned your lesson from the past, and you can conquer anything that's across your path. And so if you need to let something go, you will let it go, because you know you've made it through so much in the past already, and you don't need to make yourself suffer even more. Like, you're not meant to be suffering. With the Four of Cups, how people perceive you as someone who's a little discontent with the options that are being offered to them. And it's ultimately because you closed the cycles in your life, and you know what you've endured before, and you know the repetitive cycles that you've had to go through of the same people popping up in different bodies, if that makes sense. Like, the same energy pops up with different faces. And so of course you're going to be a little discontent, because you've been through those cycles. You know what's up, you know what goes on, like, you've endured enough. And so I feel like that's why you're able to close out these cycles, is because you understand when you are unfulfilled in a certain circumstance, and you know when you're discontent. You're not just going to settle for less anymore, because you've already settled through the cycles in your life. With the Three of Cups, how you're being perceived as someone who's a good friend, you're very supportive, you're very reliable, and you're very trustworthy. Like, people trust you. You're being perceived as someone like a likable person. People love you. People want to be around you. People relate to you. And literally, people want to be friends with you. Everybody wants to get to know you and wants you to be around them. And so I feel like this has to do with your position in life, and it's because people want to learn from you, and people want to learn how you did it. How did you get from A to Z, you know? With the Seven of Cups, how you're being perceived as someone who has a lot of options, whether this is opportunities, whether this is talents, whether this is connections. You have a lot of options. And like with the Four of Wands above this, I feel like you're really celebrating with like the support system that you already have, and not necessarily looking for like divine union with like a romantic connection so much. But people have a lot of offers for you. Like, people want to offer you their cup. People want to have this commitment with you, but I feel like you're ultimately right now just devoted to self and spirit. Bottom of the deck, the Five of Pentacles, and I feel like a lot of people feel left out in the cold. They feel left out in the cold because you have so many options, and so that's literally why they feel left out, and like they feel like you're kind of like ignoring them, when you're not so much ignoring them, you just have other things to focus on. Let's clarify this out. Get some archetype cards. How is pile number 3 being perceived? We have Poet. Expresses soul insights in symbolic language. Yeah, I feel like you're very good at expressing yourself and channeling messages. And your symbolic language allows people to kind of understand what you're saying and get a different perspective on things. I feel like you have a really great way of explaining things in a way that like other people are not able to express it. Don Juan spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. So you're being perceived as someone who has a lot of like seductive energy. You're probably tapped into your sensuality, and you know, expressing yourself freely and not feeling shame for how you express yourself. But I feel like you're also being perceived as someone who's very magnetic, and you just attract a lot of people. We have Judge, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. Yeah, so I feel like you're very just, and ultimately you're kind of like walking karma. So how people treat you is how they'll receive their karma. So if people treat you like respect you, then they'll be respected by karma. But if they, you know, try to play you and deceive you, then they earn their karma for that, because like you never deserved that. For the person you are, you never deserve that. And so I feel like you're definitely good at like managing the distribution of power, and you're very empowered within yourself, but like you don't abuse that power. We have Guide on the bottom, represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. So yeah, you're definitely this guide energy, and that's how you're being perceived, as someone who can be the guide and is trusted to be the guide because of your connection to the divine, and just ultimately, literally, people can see your connection. Let's get some clarifying cards with my Rainbow Warrior Oracle deck. Closing messages. How is pile number 3 being perceived? Healing field. This came out in the first pile. I believe it was the first pile. You're very focused on like what's in your healing field, and you're very conscious. Like, you don't just allow anything into your healing field. I saw 1212 on the timer, meaning like you don't just talk to anybody, you don't just hang out with anybody. You're very exclusive because you know it affects your energy, and you won't be able to show up in the world the way that you do if your energy's off. Yeah, we have solar plexus. How you're being perceived as someone who's very confident, very creative, very inspired. Like, you're just fueling from the inside out, and you take that intentional action towards like whatever is fueling your creativity and inspiration. And I also feel like this is why you attract people into your life, is because you are confident, and when you have unconditional self-love, it's literally like a magnet. Let's get one more card. That's 2. Let's get 1. Yeah, we have fall. how you're being perceived is someone who doesn't always have to hustle and grind. Like, fall is about putting down the hammer and just enjoying how far you've already come and not continuing to strive for more and more, because if you are continuing to look for the next best thing, you're always going to be searching for the next best thing. And so this is about, enjoying the journey, and even if you aren't where you want to be yet, you can enjoy how far you've come and be proud of how far you've come. On the bottom of the deck, we have the heart chakra. So how you're being perceived is someone who has their heart chakra open. You have a lot of love and compassion to give, and ultimately people can see the love that is within you and the love that is exuding out of your spirit and your soul. So thank you so much for tuning in, and all information that you need will be linked down below.